Hi, and welcome back to the second hour of Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. Great to have you in the conversation. You probably heard about the uproar over the 9/11 museum. First of all, they had a big uproar over the fact that the video that they play at this museum that talks about 9/11 tells the truth. I mean, it tells the truth that Muslims were behind the 9/11 attack. It just tells the truth. It calls them Islamists, but it uses the word Islam. And the Muslim groups, activist groups, they were all up in arms, wanted the video to be redone, wanted it to be pulled, and the museum directors, to their credit, just plowed right ahead and said, no, it just tells the truth. We stand by it. It's accurate. We are going to play it. Now it turns out they've got a gift shop in connection with this 9/11 museum, and everybody is finding this thing tacky. I mean, they're selling toys at this 9/11 museum to commemorate the worst attack on American soil by a foreign agent ever, more dead than at Pearl Harbor. And they're selling toys at this bookshop. They're selling books. They're selling charms. They're selling silk scarves with images of the Twin Towers for $100. They're selling raincoats for dogs that are made to look like New York Fire Department rain cloaks. So a lot of people pretty up in arms about that, as I think they should be. Now, let's play the Hillary Clinton clip, clip 5. Here is Hillary Clinton, wants to be our president in 2016, and she's talking here about the 9/11 museum and what she believes the takeaway ought to be from that.
I want Americans, especially having gone to the museum today, to really feel in our hearts that the most important thing is how we treat each other, and how we think about the future and the future for our children and future grandchildren. And that means we got to be kinder, and we have to be more compassionate and empathetic and mindful, thank you. And, you know, that's not the usual language that you use when you're talking about things like relations with Ukraine or Russia or China or whatever. But it all starts from home. Just like who you are as a person, it all starts from your heart. And so you have to carry that forward.
All right, so Hillary Clinton say we just have to be kinder, we have to be gentler. Important thing is how we treat each other. Means we've got to be kinder, we have to be more compassionate and empathetic. Well, let me ask you, Hillary Clinton, where was the compassion and the empathy and the kindness for the photographer in New Mexico who got fined $7,000? Where was the kindness and the compassion? And what's the other thing she talked about in here? The empathy for the baker in Oregon whose business was shut down because he wouldn't cooperate with the gay agenda. Where was the compassion and the empathy and the kindness for the florist in Washington who's being sued by the Attorney General? Where is the empathy and the compassion and the kindness for the baker in Colorado who was ordered by a judge to bake a cake for a gay wedding or face jail time? Where is the empathy? Where is the compassion for them? Where's the compassion for the students that are being kicked out of counseling programs because of their Christian beliefs about normative sexuality? Where's the compassion for the CEO of Mozilla, Brendan Eich? Got bounced out of his job by the gay Gestapo because he made a $1,000 donation in 2008 to support natural marriage. So I would say, Hillary Clinton, look, if we're going to start showing compassion and empathy and kindness, I'm all for that. Why don't we start with you and your group and the way you treat those who believe in sexual normalcy? Now, this business about being kinder and more compassionate and empathetic, even when we're dealing with Ukraine or Russia or China, drop down to clip 7, Rob, because this is kindergarten thinking when it comes to politics, kindergarten thinking when it comes to international relations. It's soft, it is weak, it is impotent, it invites aggression. There's no strength there. If it's supposed to be all about kindness and compassion, that might work in your home, but it does not work in relationships between political powers. And here's what Dick Cheney is saying about President Obama.
Well, I think you've got to look beyond just that most immediate crisis. Obviously, we've got to deal with that. But there has developed over the years of the Obama administration, I think, a sense on the part of others that we have a weak government. We saw, for example, at the mere request from Putin, President Obama withdrew the plans for a missile defense program based in Poland and the Czech Republic. He's demonstrated repeatedly, I think, that he, in fact, can be pushed around, if you will, by the Putins, and I don't think that Mr. Putin has any hesitation at all from the standpoint of the American president of changing his course of action. I think he's taking advantage of this opportunity when he thinks we have a weak president to try to restore the old Soviet Union.
So that's Dick Cheney. I think he's exactly right. President Obama projects weakness to the world, and that invites aggression from our enemies. Drop down to clip 13. We've been following the scandal at the Veterans Administration. 1.5 medical orders tossed in the ash can. We're now finding problems with these wait lists at no less than 8 VA hospitals where the records were falsified to make it look like these veterans were getting care sooner than they were. We've got records now of at least 40 to 60 veterans dying because they were waiting for medical care in a veterans hospital. Here is Jake Tapper talking to Dennis McDonough, Chief of Staff for President Obama, about this issue. Let's listen to their exchange.
This letter from the chairman of the House Veterans Affairs Committee from 1 year ago warns of dramatic problems at the VA, a perfect illustration of the management failures, deception, lack of accountability permeating VA's healthcare system, an alarming pattern of serious and significant patient care issues. This was sent to President Obama in May 2013. According to Congressman Miller, his office got no response from the president. It was referred to General Shinseki, who, according to them, sent back boilerplate. This is a year ago he was warning about this.
Every day, a year, whether it's a year ago, whether it's yesterday, whether it's tomorrow, the president is dedicated to making sure that our vets get the care that they have earned.
But if you say
and we work with Chairman Miller, we work with Chairman Sanders, we work with all the members of the House and Senate to make sure that they have it. That's why the president has seen dramatically expanded investments in Veterans Administration operations over the course of these last 5 years, year on year, and historic increases in that budget.
Dennis,
at a time, by the way, Jake, when we've seen budgets under intense pressure.
I understand.
We will continue to make those investments.
So notice that the solution always for liberals is throw money at it. How many times do you use the word budget or investment? And that's not what Jake Tapper's talking about. He's talking about veterans dying. He's not talking about how much money you're spending. He's talking about how many veterans you are allowing to die under your care. And Jake Tapper gets a little energized. Here is the next clip, clip 14. Jake Tapper saying, look, we have veterans dying here, and you guys don't seem to care. Let's listen.
How many stories like this, how many letters like this, how many dead veterans do you need before somebody asks the question within the White House, maybe this guy isn't the best steward of these veterans?
The question, Jake, is, are we doing everything every day to get the veterans the care and the opportunities that
but
they
you're
deserve?
not. This letter was sent a year ago, and you guys ignored it.
So that's Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper's a guy that occasionally will do some honest-to-goodness journalism, stumbles onto it every once in a while. He's like John Carl at ABC. Occasionally, those guys will actually do journalism, and he's kind of up in Dennis McDonough's grill. How many dead veterans is it going to take? And, you know, right now, President Obama celebrated International Transphobia Day, ignored Armed Services Day. He ignored Armed Services Day, but he celebrated the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, and he's getting ready to pay $50,000 for Bradley Manning to get gender reassignment surgery, but won't provide enough money to give veterans health care. He's letting them die in the VA while he's paying for sex reassignment surgery for a traitor to his country. Back in 2.